Manitoba's government needs a reality check on their COVID law enforcement. And I think we're just the people to give it to them. But I need your help to do it. The province of Manitoba, as I film this, has 240 people in hospital and about 40 of those in intensive care due to COVID-19, and just 190 people have died because of COVID-19 since the beginning of the pandemic. However, the province was recently plunged into full lockdown, and the premier, like Patrick Brown before him, has hired private security, COVID mercenaries really, to enforce a lockdown on an unwilling public. Look at this. Private security officers will crack down on rule breakers after shoppers crowded into big box stores where many bought, if you can imagine, non-essential goods during the first weekend of the province's latest lockdown. The province has hired security firm G4S Canada to boost its enforcement of COVID-19 regulations, and their personnel should be handing out tickets by this weekend. Premier Brian Pallister said Tuesday all of Manitoba was put into code red restrictions last Thursday, forcing most non-essential businesses and services to close. Now look at this tweet from the premier, that alleged conservative named Brian Pallister. He tweets, "We're all part of Team Manitoba. If you see something, say something. Voice your concerns and share information by calling our COVID-19 Manitoba tip line. Nothing says we're all a big fat team and we're all in this together, like calling the cops on your neighbors for having a birthday party." And Pallister, he really means it. Look what he's doing to the people of Manitoba. A specific fine of $298 is being put in place for not wearing a mask in indoor public places, which is required under the current public health orders. Enforcement officials can issue this fine. All other fines for individuals related to public health orders remain at $1,296, while fines for businesses are $5,000. Now, I took this next information directly from the Government of Manitoba COVID-19 website. The Manitoba government advises that ongoing enforcement efforts by more than 3,300 personnel across various agencies that are empowered to enforce public health orders to protect Manitobans continue. This includes RCMP, law enforcement agencies, provincial employees, and municipal partners, such as the City of Winnipeg. Now, look at this. This is the list of victims of government heavy-handedness. It's probably going to make my video today a little long, but I want to list them all in case you're in the area and you want to patronize them and show them some support. Since enforcement efforts began in April, a total of 307 warnings and 200 tickets have been issued. Some examples of tickets since the beginning of November include a $5,000 ticket to Bar Italia in Winnipeg for operating with 7 patrons on the outdoor patio. Of the 7, 5 were in possession of liquor. A $5,000 ticket to the Pembina Hotel for failure to ensure patrons vacate by 11 p.m. A $5,000 ticket to Pony Corral Restaurant and Bar in Winnipeg for failure to ensure patrons vacate by 11 p.m. Patrons not seated, patrons dancing. This is the town from Footloose. A $5,000 ticket to Gymboree Playing Music in Winnipeg for failing to close. A $5,000 ticket to the Town Centre Mall Food Court in Brandon for failure to take measures to ensure physical distancing between patrons. A $5,000 ticket to Good Life Fitness in Brandon for failure to take measures to ensure physical distancing between patrons, and because staff were not instructing clients to maintain 2-meter distancing. A $5,000 ticket to McDonald's in Neepawa for failure to take measures to ensure physical distancing between patrons. Some patrons were observed less than 2 meters apart. This is unbelievable. A $5,000 ticket to the Gillam Motor Inn for not ensuring contact information was obtained from patrons dining or drinking in the premises. A $5,000 ticket to the Riverton Petro-Canada for failing to remind individuals to wear masks, and a $5,000 ticket to the JT Diner in Bloom Nort for failing to remind individuals to wear masks. And if you are on this list, let me tell you, reach out to us here at Rebel News. Go to fightthefines.com. Tell us your story. We are amassing a team of lawyers that we are going to deploy to help you at no cost to you. We're not going to pay your fine, but we will help you fight the fine every step of the way, and we will work with you to make Manitoba freer. Now let's keep going on this government website. In addition, a total of 54 warnings and 32 tickets were issued last week, November 9th to 15th. Over the weekend, one individual was ticketed in Steinbach for gathering at a demonstration and received a $1,296 fine. However, this incident remains under investigation and additional charges are expected. Earlier this month, the province announced enhanced enforcement efforts, including increased fines for breaching or failing to comply with public health or emergency orders. The new fines, as these maniacs keep mentioning, are $1,296 for individuals, up from $486, and $5,000 for corporations, an increase from $2,542. The current orders restrict gatherings and limit group sizes, set out the distance individuals are required to observe from another, and require businesses to ensure their customers are able to maintain the required separation. Manitobans can report compliance and enforcement issues by visiting the Pallister snitch line. I'm not going to give the number. Karens and busybodies and mass scolds can find it for themselves. They're not going to get any help from me to terrorize their friends and neighbors for having holiday gatherings. I mean, it seems absolutely unreal, but all of this is true. Now, on one hand, I despise seeing this bragginess of a government crack down on small businesses and normal people already just trying to keep their heads above water these days. I mean, can you say tone deaf? But on the other hand, I appreciate the transparency of it all. And I like how the Pallister government is showing everybody who they really are right now. They're a bunch of thugs. They claim to be conservative, but if the NDP were still in power in Manitoba, would they be doing anything different than that so-called conservative Premier Brian Pallister? I don't think so. Now, we've had several Fight the Fines victories already. Walter Matheson in New Brunswick, Artur Pawlowski in Calgary, and our own Tamara Ugolini. All of them fought back with our help and with the help of all of our supporters at home. And the government dropped their fines. And I know our work on their behalf has made the COVID cops a little less eager with their little ticket books. Now, I'm mad. And let me say this directly to Brian Pallister. Back off. And shame on you. Shame on you for kicking these people when they are down with nothing left to lose. And you know what else, Pallister? You're not going to know what hit you when we're done teaching you what freedom is all about, and when we're done reminding you how conservatives think and feel. But I can't do this without your help at home. Please go to fightthefines.com and donate today to help us cover these enormous legal costs that we are surely going to accrue to save Manitoba and Manitobans from their own government. Manitoba businesses and people need us to help them fight back. No one else is helping them. Some of these people are being fined for protesting the ridiculous lockdown itself, like the protesters in Steinbach. Please help us at fightthefines.com. Thank you. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. If you're in Manitoba and you've been hammered by one of Pallister's authoritarian COVID-19 fines, reach out to us. Tell us your story at a special website we've set up, fightthefines.com. And that website, it's not just for Manitobans, although Manitobans are on my radar today. If you have been hit by a COVID-19 fine anywhere in this country, fightthefines.com is where you can get in touch with us and tell us your story. If you are someone who hasn't received a fine, but you care deeply about fighting back and keeping Canada free, even during a pandemic, you can donate today to help our legal efforts at that same website, fightthefines.com.